Hey guys, JH, welcome to Practice Tea. Not too windy today, only about 25 kilometres an hour, guys. Not a lot of wind at all in relative terms to the JH Practice Tea. Okay guys, for anybody that, and I want to make make a statement here. The stuff that I've been showing you with Yogi Lock is just for Yogi Lock, for a variation of channel lock if you want to go down that road, if you want to incorporate some of the good things of Yogi in. And I think the quick ignition is a good thing, but I also am cognizant of the fact that we're not all wired the same. Not everybody's wired like I am and as Yogi was. So if you're someone that's wired with a slower circuitry, then you know, a quick start, it will go against your normal circuitry and you may get an overload and get a short circuit. So we don't want to do that. But for anybody who's interested in Yogi Lock, you can incorporate this quick ignition process. Now the other thing that you can do in channel lock, because we want to get negative load, is incorporate, which I haven't tried before, but I'm going to try today, because I wanted a couple of days to impregnate what I wanted to do in my mind, and that's how I do a lot of my practice, and I'm sure that's what Yogi did. I mean, I embed in my mind what I want to do before I physically try it. Then I've got a program in there that will direct something to happen with my body. And what I've been doing for the last 2 days, very, very diligently and strongly, is impregnating that thought process in my mind that I want with this this new, what I call the shoulder sling, the Yogi shoulder sling for channel lock. And what that is, guys, and I was alerted to it by David Edwards from South Australia here in Australia. And David said he saw in Yogi swing. I saw it there, but I never isolated it the way Dave has. And I'm eternally grateful for that, Dave. But what Dave is saying is that he sees this in Yogi's swing. After Yogi's gone in here, and he gets, because we saw this with Yogi and he wanted that. Now that is hard to get by itself. If you try and just do that to get that, that's hard to do. That really is hard to do. But we saw it looking not hard in Yogi's swing, and I think that was a resultant of the shoulder sling that David Edwards has alerted me to. And what is a shoulder sling? The shoulder sling is this, guys. And then once Yogi got into here, this was all dormant, and you've got the noodle lead arm, and he just slung that shoulder back there. He pushed, look what happens there, look. If I just sling that shoulder back against my hands, look what happens. My hands are dormant, but the shoulder slinging back and pushing against the hands creates that huge lag, that negative lag, or negative load. It's fantastic. I haven't tried it. It's what I like to do all the time. I like to come on the camera, live television as we say, and just see if it works. Now I think I've got a program in my mind for it. And I think probably that's why Yogi, for his size, was such a prodigious hitter. Because when I do that, when I say I haven't hit any shots with it, at home, for about a half an hour, I just got the club and I just had my hands dormant and the macaroni or the noodle lead arm, and I just pushed that lead arm away. I just did that for about a half an hour continuously. So I've got that feeling, and I did that this morning before I came here. So I've got that feeling, so I should be able to replicate that because I can still feel it. And I've got the neural program that I need to replicate that feeling. See guys, a lot of people, when they're playing well, they've got a feeling and they hit the ball great because it's a good feeling. But the next day or the next hour or the next minute, when they lose that feeling, they can't replicate those good shots. You know why? Because they can't replicate the feeling. And you know why they can't replicate the feeling? Because they don't know what caused it. They felt it, but they didn't know what caused it. They didn't know the actuality of the causation of that feeling. Now, I know that Yogi had a feeling and he knew precisely what caused it. And I think I know what will cause me to create this action. And here it is, guys, first hit. The first real hit with it. Okay, I've just brought that program back. And I'll be a bit slower in my ignition because I'm keying on this. Well, there, guys, there's the first shot. 5-iron. Normal 5-iron distance. Absolutely normal 5-iron distance. And Mr. X was hitting my club yesterday and didn't clean it. Yeah, guys, that was okay. That was, I mean, probably I didn't get anywhere near the shoulder sling that I wanted, but considering I had an entirely different thought process, I mean, the shot went great. Noodle arm. Now, if I can slow that down, I mean, that hit was really good, but it's really violent and it's quick because I'm just learning a new skill. Come on, just smooth it, Jay, smooth it. There it is, guys. Wow! Holy cow! The only way I can describe that, guys, is an explosion off the face of the golf club. That was an explosion. That was just off the scale power. Now, the reason I'm going to continue on with Yogi Lock is because I just love the extra power that it gives me. I mean, that is extraordinary. This is 5-iron, but that's gone 4.5-iron distance. Just off the scale. Crazy stuff. And I haven't mishit one yet. The first two weren't timed that great, but still went good. Now the wind's come up, it's probably up about 30 k's now. Come on, noodle arm. And there's another one, right on top of that last one. As Mo Norman would say, it took me a while to get used to that. Like 4 swings. Mo Norman used to do that at exhibitions. I remember the Callaway guy brought out the biggest Big Bertha in Orlando. And I think it was 94 or something like that. And he had it in plastic. He came over and said, "Oh, Mr. Norman, could you hit this? This is our new club." And it was that massive big thing. And Mo looked at the crowd and said, look at this, a gas can on a broomstick. How could you ever hit a golf club that looked like that? I couldn't hit that, sonny. And he went to give it back to the guy, and the guy was going, he said, "But I'll give it a go." And guys, it was a 6-degree driver. 6 degree. They had a 6 degree in that, and it was 6 degrees, which was unheard of in those days. Or was it 7 degrees? Might have been 7. But we'd never heard of those type of lofts before. Anyway, Mo just said, "How could I hit this? How could I hit this?" Anyway, he just teed it up, and he hit 4 unbelievable drives. And then he turned to the crowd looking at the thing and said, "Oh, it took me a while to get used to that, didn't it?" Like 4 shots. But they were perfect. I'll never forget that. I actually brought back the first one of those into Australia. They weren't released in Australia for another couple of months, but I actually got one from Callaway over there, and I brought it back to Australia. I brought 2 back, actually. And it created a stir because no one had ever seen them before. And they were long in their day. Okay, noodle arm and the shoulder sling. Oh, you got to see this. There are no words to aptly describe the feeling of impact of that shot. I cannot describe it. I just can't describe the feeling of that shot. I really can't, guys. I don't know what it... Well, you know why I can't describe it? Because I've never felt it before. It just felt like the club squashed the golf ball out of this crabgrass. Just felt like the golf club squashed the golf ball. And David Edwards said that he was doing it the other day and he was getting an unbelievable feeling. And he said it got him on such a high because the feeling was so different to anything he's ever felt before. And guys, because it's been so cold here lately and I've been hitting a lot of balls, and I've got a big crack in my finger right there and it's so painful. What happens in the wintertime when you get a crack in the skin and it just keeps going? That was amazing. Amazing. Noodle lead arm. There's 3 in a row. 3 in a row with this shoulder sling. I just never get anywhere near that with a 5-iron, guys. Never. That's flying, that's still in the air, taking pictures going over the normal landing area of my 5-iron. So it's a club and a half longer. What does it feel like? It feels out of control. It feels like I've got, you know, like I'm really, feel like a noodle. I feel like this. But I know I'm not going back very far yet. But man, this is encouraging to be able to do this in just a couple of shots. Noodle lead arm. Well, how many is that? 4 or 5? Wow. Big, high power draw. And that's happening because, and the wind is right to left here, so it's gone, started out there, big high power draw, and gets up and the wind's probably 45 up there, and it just takes it across because these shafts are soft for this type of golf swing. But I see Bill Phillips is trialling out some soft shafts so he can get head feel. I love head feel in my irons. I like really stiff woods, but I like really soft irons, and I always have. Well, it's not true. In the early days I used to play, you know, the old X100s, those big 138 gram X100 shafts. Well, back when I started playing, they weren't even out. Dynamic Gold had not come out. It was the old black label Dynamic, and they had 29, 31 and 33 pound flexes. And 33 pound flex was a stiff, and we used to put 33 pound in and we used to tip it, so it was about 35 pound, so it was like an X200. But I played with those because I was strong enough, but I didn't like the feel. And then one day I just hit somebody's clubs because they were they happened to be soft, and I thought, wow, I love that. So I went to soft shafts from then on, and now I'm into very soft shafts. Okay, watch this guy. Noodle arm. Well guys, honestly, Scout's on it, Cub's on it, whatever, Girl Guide's on it. They're 4 of the most majestic golf shots I've ever hit in my life. I've never hit shots like that. So the point I'm making about the Yogi stuff, guys, if you want to do it, if you want to sort of pioneer like I'm doing in modern times, I mean, Yogi was the pioneer, he already did it, but you can do this stuff. I mean, I just did it. I mean, they're just unbelievable golf shots, incredible golf shots, amazing contact. And what is it? This is a noodle, those arms are stationary, and I'm doing that. Watch, that's moving, guys, because I'm doing that. Of course I'm pushing that. So that's what it is. That's what I call the shoulder sling, or David Edwards termed the phrase, or the description, the shoulder sling. And it's fantastic, David, absolutely fantastic. I mean, I cannot believe that contact out of this grass is just crazy. That's Mr. X over there. I might get him to come over and try that later on. Okay guys, last shot. Watch this. The shoulder sling. Now guys, there's 6 in a row. That's as good as I've ever hit the ball in my life. All the channel lock componentry, but with some Yogi Lock, some Yogi gadgets in there. Okay guys, I'll do more on it during the week. But what I'm saying to people is that if you're down the road with your standard channel lock, you don't have to go down this road. This is just a bit of fun. This is just a little bit of experimentation, a bit of development. But you don't have to go down that road. Not necessary. If you know, and I would suggest the people that are down the road with standard channel lock, stay in it. Stay in it. Absolutely stay in it. I'll do more on the quick ignition process with standard channel lock as we go down the road. Alright, if Mr. X is over there, I might get him to come over and get him to feel this lead shoulder. Mr. X? Yeah, so he'll come over. Okay guys.